Hey, it's Abigail. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. Right away, you might notice that something is different, and that something is we're outside. We're not inside anymore. This week I decided I just really did not want to film inside, so we're out here, and I love it out here. It's so quiet and peaceful, and just such a nice place to be. So I might continue doing that. I don't know, it'll be interesting to see as like the leaves fall and change colors and stuff. That could be really pretty, so we'll see. I might continue doing it outside, but maybe not. Today, we're going to be talking about co-authoring. So I'm just going to be walking you through what I did with my co-authoring and like how that worked for me, the pros and the cons of it. I really liked co-authoring. It was super fun, and it's really cool to get other people's perspectives on the book. But something I will say is I've noticed that if you have different styles of writing, even if it's a little different, then sometimes the book isn't the smoothest to read because one person might write this part and one person might write the next, and they might not transition super smoothly. It might be the same storyline, but different wordings, and that can be a little interesting to read. But overall, co-authoring is really fun to do, and you gotta do it with a friend. A con of it is you do have to meet up with that person in order to write together, and that can definitely be difficult. I'm sorry if we have like that really loud noise. There's some, I think it's like a bug or a bird, and it just makes this noise every so often. So it's fading away now, so now I can continue. So when I co-authored the book, then my friend and I had to just like Zoom or FaceTime or whatever in order to be able to write together, so we'd each be on our own computer writing. And also it can be kind of difficult because sometimes one person's computer is delayed and the other person's isn't. And then that can be difficult where you're trying to write. One time it was fun. We both wrote at the same time, and it was pretty much the same sentence but a little different wording, so that was really funny. But most of the time that doesn't happen. Sometimes one person's trying to write and then it just gets overlapped, and it's difficult. And I would say that if you're going to co-author, make sure that you can meet up with that person regularly to, one, keep the book going, and to, two, make sure that you both know where the book is going to be going in general. Like, if you guys don't know where it's going to end or something, you guys want to make sure that you talk about it a lot before you actually start writing it together. That's something that I wish I had done, is I wish that my friend and I had just talked a lot more about where the book was going to go and stuff like that, and how we actually wanted to write it. Because if we had done that, I feel like it would have gone better. But the book overall, I like the book, it's fine. It was very fun to write. I would just recommend that if you are going to co-author, you are able to see the person and actually are able to meet up with them, because that is something that is going to improve your writing together and be able to write a lot better. If you guys are writing on paper, that's something that I didn't do. I wrote on Google Docs, so that way we could both write at the same time, and it could be on the same thing, because if you have a piece of paper and you're both trying to write, then it'll be difficult, because if you're wanting to put them pieces of paper together, or I don't know what you were planning on doing if you're writing on a piece of paper, because I personally have not done that except for doing school. So if you're planning on just using pieces of paper and writing, that can be difficult. I can see that, because then you won't be able to see what the other person is writing. I'm sorry if I went on and on about that. That was not my intention. I just kept talking. So moving on from that, another pro is that you get to grow with somebody else. If you have a friend that, even if they're not super close to you, if you start reading together, writing together, playing a game together, playing a sport, if you start doing that together, you're gonna grow closer. And something that is super fun is that if you're both passionate about the subject, whether it's sports, reading, or writing, or anything else, if you guys are doing it together and you both have passion for it, it's gonna be crazy how much you can grow faster. Because if one person's not super passionate about it, and the other person is, the person who's passionate can encourage the other person to be passionate, and then they can both be passionate about it, and that's super fun. You can encourage each other when doing the same thing. It's really just a great friendship building thing is what I would call it, is that if you're gonna do a subject together, whether it's physical or mental, if you're gonna do that together, then it's just gonna bring you so much closer together, and it's really fun to see where you come out after you've finished. I honestly don't think there's any more cons. Like, the one that I said was like a big one, and it's kind of multiple things packed into one, but that was just something that I noticed, was that consistency is important to keep the whole book being consistent, and that's something that it's more difficult to do if it's just two people writing rather than just yourself. But it is fun to write together with somebody else. So I would highly recommend at least writing one book with somebody else, or even a short story with somebody else. That way you can just get a taste of it, and if you really like it, then you can write a bigger thing, like a novel or something like that. So I would just say start out small to see if it's going to actually work out with your friend. Because if it doesn't work out, you don't want to be invested in this huge story that you've made, and then it just plummet, and then you get really sad because you were hoping that that story would go somewhere. I've had that happen before, and I would highly recommend not doing that. I would say just start out with something small that you know if you don't write it, that's okay. And then if you guys write it together and you find that was fun to do, but I don't want to do it anymore, that's okay because you finished a short story. But if you are like, that was super fun, I want to continue, then you can know where to go from there, and you can just like write a bigger book and stuff like that. So that is something that I would highly recommend, is if you're going to start co-authoring with somebody, start small and then work your way up to something big. Thank you all for watching today, and I hope you have a great Tuesday. Bye!